Previously on Snails with No Shells.
I don't know. I'm just be honest. I did. I robbed the dude for some drugs,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and as I was leaving, he pointed a gun at me, and I shot him in the leg. As I
Okay.
opened the door to run out, uh, I don't know if this is karma or what, but it was a police officer already in the vicinity, so he heard the gunshots, and as soon as I opened the door, I heard freeze.
Are you ready to be in the spotlight? Are you ready to share your story with the world? Well, Snails with No Shells is where you need to be. Available on all digital platforms, Facebook, and YouTube. Snails with No Shells. Leave that shell at the door. Where did we go wrong? We were doing so
And it was like a bad dream. And I was like, what? I kept running.
well. Mm-hmm.
I threw the gun. I threw the dope. Ran a couple of blocks. I ended up getting apprehended. They took me back, and the dude said, "Yeah, that's the dude that shot me." Even though they didn't find the gun, and that's another thing I'm gonna let everybody know. In Georgia, they don't have to have a gun to find you guilty of aggravated assault, or if somebody say you pointed a gun at them, or if you shot somebody and got rid of the gun. If that person testifies and said, "Hey, he had a black gun and he shot me in the leg," and that person got a hole in their leg, guess what? They don't need the gun.
Hmm.
They can find you guilty off of their testimony. Absolutely. Or somebody can say, "Hey, he came over here and waved the gun at me." You can be at your house, and guess what? Police gonna come knock at your door. Hey, you under arrest, aggravated assault.
Oh,
So
wow.
pointed the gun at them. So yeah, Georgia got some crazy laws. Now I'm not saying that one of the better attorneys can't maneuver through all that and possibly get you off, but a lot of the young black guys are getting incarcerated now. They don't have attorneys, or they don't have adequate attorney. You know,
Right.
the public defender system that's overwhelmed, overburdened, and their thing is just to shuffle you through, get you to plead out on something, and shoot you on off the prison so they can make money from you down there.
Right.
So
Right.
this time I got found guilty, and my sentence was I got a 35-year sentence, and this was in 2009 when I went to trial. So they gave me a 20-year sentence for the aggravated assault and 15-year sentence for the gun charge, and they found me not guilty of the armed robbery because the guy couldn't say I robbed him for some dope, so he made up some other unbelievable story that they didn't.
Right. 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 Because he be telling
But
on
the
his.
jury, yes, but the jury said that yeah, I believe he got shot because he had a hole in his leg, and he did, uh, he did get put in the ambulance. And the key thing to that though is the officer. This is another thing I want to tell everybody. Now, I know the police officers out there to protect and serve, and I commend anybody. My brother-in-law is a police officer. Anybody that serves to protect us, I definitely salute you. But the officer lied on me. Now, even and this is it doesn't even make any difference now because I admit that I did, shoot the dude. The dude got shot in the leg. I did that. I got found guilty, so that's not incriminating. I'm not incriminating myself. But the officer, to solidify the identification, he actually said that he seen me shoot the gun, which was a lie, and
Mm-hmm.
it happened in a locked apartment. And I shot two times and then I ran out. But to make the story sound even better for the jury, the police officer said, "Hey, I heard one gunshot. I came around the corner, and that's when I seen him running out. And then he pointed back in the apartment. And he shot again, and I saw that." So for the jury that cemented the identification. You know, you see the officer on the stand in his uniform. We're gonna believe what he said. He said he seen him. He seen him.
Right.
So I just say that to say officer will tell a lie, even if that was a lie and he felt like it was a good lie because he felt like I was in the wrong. But you
Right.
know, it is what it is. But I got that 35-year sentence in 2009, and that seemed like, I ain't gonna lie, that seemed like the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
29 years old and a 35-year sentence.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, now that's the time my mom threw up. Like
Right.
sentence. Now I remember hearing. I look back and she was throwing up, and they was helping her back there.
Yeah.
But
Um,
my stomach dropped, and they had this thing when I was going to trial where they put on your leg. It's like a brace, and it only bends a certain amount, and it keeps, what it does is it stops you from being able to run in the
mm-hmm.
court. So if it extends fully, it'll lock and you'll actually fall on the floor. But if you act out, they have a device where they can shoot a voltage through it.
Mm.
So it's like if you get sentenced and you jump up like, man, judge off, and they can hit a button and it hit me with like 50 volts. Now I don't know, maybe they was lying, maybe it wasn't nothing in there, but I wasn't gonna find out.
Right.
So,
Right. Wow.
yeah, but 35 years. I mean, well, I wasn't 29 then because I was 29 when I got out. When I got sentenced again, I was like 32. So at 32, getting 35 years, it's like, it seemed like the end of the world. I ain't gonna lie. Like,
Right.
and then
But
to
but
have,
you didn't do the whole 35. I mean,
yeah, so miraculously, and I didn't know it was gonna work out like that. So now this time, being that this was my second time in prison, I had a different outlook on prison. But because I had been before, they sent me to the worst prison in Georgia at the time. Like they sent me to a disciplinary prison. They sent me to Smith State Prison, and I swear I'm not exaggerating a little bit. It was somebody getting stabbed and almost killed every week.
mm,
This was the environment. So it was, being a disciplinary prison. It was like when you couldn't behave at other prisons, they sent you to this prison. So this was like the detention of prisons, so to speak.
mhm,
And
mhm,
they sent me to this. I don't know if it was because of my sentence or if because I had been in prison before,
mhm,
but they sent me to this one. And I don't know, but my mindset this time was I was going to fight my case. I actually had lawyers filing appeals. And it's
mhm.
like, even if you did it, you're still looking for a loophole or something to lessen the sentence, because she gave me like an extreme sentence because I had, essentially, she was like, you didn't learn. You just got out of prison.
Right.
Here it is, you back with another violent crime. I'm going to give you as much time as I can give you. And
Okay.
I had 35 years.
And
But
that was the plan because you said you got out, you almost 30, you had no skills. So what were you kind of like got set up for failure. And I know that happens a lot. A lot of men, black men I know, they go to jail, prison, they come out and they wind up going right back. That happens a lot.
well, I want to say this too. Like, I kind of got set up for failure, but it's all about the mindset too. So
Mhm.
I didn't properly train my mind. I don't feel like I had the proper tools really that first time I was in prison. And like I kind of set myself up. The situation, they didn't give me the tools, true enough. I didn't get no job trainings,
Mhm.
no, none of that. I went from being locked down in the cell all day to being free. And I didn't
Mhm.
have no plan whatsoever.
Right.
This time going in, the plan was either I'm gonna get my case overturned, get some of my time knocked off, or I was gonna get my security work down and get to a work release program and get out that way. Either way, I wasn't gonna do 35 years.
Mhm.
So as God would have it, I ended up doing a little over 12 years, and I got sent to the work release program. And it happened where I filed I filed everything I could all the way up to Superior Court,
Mm.
Supreme
Okay.
Court, and
Mhm.
they denied all my everything I filed. Like after the lawyer stopped doing stuff, I started filing myself. I started going to the law library, reading, immersing myself in the law, looking at different cases, trying to cite this and this. Well, they messed up on this, they messed up on this. But in Georgia, it's hard. I'm not gonna lie. Like, because it's like you broke the law. They know you broke the law, and being black, I don't want to sound like that typical black person blaming a white man or whatever, but man, they want a certain number of us in prison. Prison is a profitable situation. They make a lot of money off of us in prison. Prisoners at that time, I think they was getting like 20 something $1,000 per prisoner. That was allowed it, and then they have the private industries that work in the prisons for like the commissary, the places where we have to order shoes. If you want some tennis shoes, if you want pajamas, if you want towels, your people can't send you this stuff. This is all stuff you have to buy. So imagine you got this captive customer base that you can just make money off of. And you sitting in that prison, you bored. You want snacks, they're not feeding you enough. You want headphones, you want radios, like you want all that stuff. So you spending money. And I feel like if you think about this, just think about this. The judges, police officers, the court clerks, everybody that's involved in the judicial system, this is big business. They're keeping people in with a job. So if you took away all the violence and nobody got locked up, it'd be a lot of people without jobs, right?
Right.
Okay, so guess what? We need y'all locked up. We need y'all in prison. We need y'all filling them beds, and we need you to keep coming back so these people can keep these jobs and we can keep making this money off of you. So, but
Wow.
sorry, I digress. But I made it out. I went to the work release program, and this time I worked. The work release program, for those that don't know, is called the Transitional Center, or the TC. And essentially, you stay there. You get to wear your free world clothes and whatnot. You stay there, and you leave and go to work, and then you come back there. And because I got there at the height of the pandemic, which was the January of last year, I got there January the 22nd, and so we didn't get any passes. Like, because normally you would get like home passes to go see your family and stuff, to spend time with them. But because of the pandemic, we didn't get to do that. So it was like to work, back to the center, to work, back to the center. But you had a phone, you got to talk to your family and whatnot. And, I got a chance to save some money, and it kind of got me reacclimated back, into society, because I went to work. I was around, civilians, or, free world people. And, yeah, it got me in a better situation. So when I was released in October, I feel like I was better equipped. I worked on my credit. That's when I learned credit also. Like I was at
Right. Speaking of, right, let's get into that. Because that was something positive that definitely came out of all of this.
yeah. So the credit thing happened where, because the first time I got out, I noticed that a lot of people was doing background checks, and they wanted to know your credit score on in certain instances too. And I didn't have any credit history. I never had anything in my name, never had a credit card, nothing. I never had utilities in my name, any of that stuff. So this time around, I worked on my credit, and I did this while I was in prison. So I know everybody hear about, contraband cell phones in prison. That's true. Cell phones are in prison. In abundance, depending on what prison you at, and you can pay anywhere from $200 to $1,500, depending on supply and demand and where you are. But at the last prison, I had a phone, and I used it to study credit. I learned about credit. I watched all the videos on YouTube. I was pulling up stuff on Google, and I was like, I got. Hold on, we're gonna edit all this out. So I taught myself about credit, and I knew it was gonna be important for my success getting out. And one of the things that I wanted a car. I was like, okay, I know I don't have enough money. I'm not gonna have enough money when I get out. But I learned about the credit unions and stuff, how they give you money for a car and all that. So I just dug into it, and one thing led to another. I got my mom put me on as an authorized user on one of her credit cards, and instantly I had a credit score. So that's a hack for everybody. If you don't have a credit score, you don't have a bad credit history, you want to get on the map with a credit score period, you get somebody that has good credit and that has an aged account. So like your mom might have that old 10-year-old 15-year-old Visa card that she's never missed a payment on, and it doesn't matter even the limit, it could be like $1,000 credit card or whatever. But if she puts you on as an authorized user, all of that history and those good payments is going to reflect on your credit report, and instantly you have a credit score. So that helped me out, and opened up a bank account. And I did all this from in prison on the phone, just so y'all know. Opened up a bank account and just started my credit footprint going prior to me getting out. My sister's in the Navy, actually got with Navy Federal. And so before I even got home, I had a check waiting for me, auto loan. And I was able to get out and go get me a brand new car,
Hmm. Okay.
which is different from the first time. Even though I had
Right.
a car somebody gave me, but it just felt different to be able to go to the lot and get a car and not have something actually in my name. That's a liability because it's a car that's not making me no money, but it's something that I want. So,
Right. I remember you posting that car on Instagram. I
right.
remember you were so proud. And I mean, it's like you spent so much time, away that you didn't get a chance to enjoy those things like everybody else did that was we call it in the free world, enjoying those first time owning cars and all that at 19 and 20. You were in prison, so don't be ashamed. I mean, don't be ashamed about that. You know what I'm saying? You got what you wanted. So let me ask you a quick question about credit. What if you what if you don't have someone that can put you on their credit?
So if you don't have anybody that can put you on, the, one of the things I do recommend is joining a credit union. They have PenFed, which is I guess it's Pentagon Fed. Navy Federal was the best. I love Navy Federal.
Okay.
If you can get into Navy Federal and just open up accounts, so what you would start doing is just establish that relationship. Use that account, put some money in, put some money out if you're working. Get your direct deposited to that account, and you start up those internal data points. And the internal data points is your relationship with the bank. And that's essentially saying, hey, I'm a good guy. I got some money coming in, some money going out. And one of the things that Navy Federal offers is a pledge loan. A pledge loan is simply a secured loan, basically.
Hmm.
And that's going to be one of the things, maybe the first thing that's going to report on your credit.
Okay.
And this is a loan where you say, hey, I got $1,000. They take it, they put it in your savings, and then they put $1,000 in your checking. Now, the $1,000 is secured, but it shows on your credit report as long, and you pay it off. So you can take that same $1,000 that he just put in your checking account, don't spend it. You take 800 of it and give it right back to him, and then you do a slow payment of $20 a month for the last 20% of it, just to to flesh out the history of you paying back a loan.
Okay.
Another one of the options is to get a secured credit card. Everybody hear about secured credit cards.
Mhm.
Navy Federal does it even better. You get a secured card for maybe $500. You utilize it, pay it off like you're supposed to. Within 6 months, it becomes unsecured,
Mhm.
and now you get your $500 back that you had to put up for security. Get that back. Now you have a $500 credit card that's reporting. Now your credit is slowly, you building some little bitty footsteps. Uh, Capital One is good with giving you credit cards. They're kind of one of the C tier lenders because they're tiers. And I'm not gonna lie, like I did The Overstock.com. If you want to get credit going, they'll give you a credit card. They gave me like $3,000, and these are just products to use just to start your credit profile. If you,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
uh,
Yeah. Okay, so look, we're gonna pause it there because you do work with you work with individuals, right? With building their credit, right?
absolutely.
Okay, so yes, we want to save some of this so when you people need to reach out to you that you can have,
Oh,
you know,
I was good. All the sauce
all the
today,
game right now. Wait. You gotta
and
hold some
it
of
works.
it. Yeah.
I just want to encourage anybody, like, if you're not aware of what your credit is, or you're not aware of the importance of it, it's more than just getting a credit card so you can go and buy, a new pair of Jordans and a pocketbook. It's about establishing that credit, because in the end, two of the most expensive things that you're probably not going to have money out of pocket. Not saying that you can't get it, but a car and a house, and you're going to have to go to a lender most likely to say, "Hey, I need some money for a car, or I need some money for a house." Or to go a step further, you want to build up your personal credit. So if you want to build a business, when they look at your personal credit, when you're trying to establish this business credit, it does factor in, because if you're messing up your money on a personal level, you're not going to be able to build good business credit like that. So
Oh wow, wow! This has been an amazing time. Your story is so interesting, very interesting story. I do.
I left a lot of stuff out. I just want to say that I did edit it a lot, and I just want to touch on this and say this one thing, because I know we're pressed for time. Uh, if you know anybody or you deal with anybody personally that's been incarcerated, definitely love that person, man. I know they may not act the same way they did, or they did when they were before they went to prison. Maybe it changed them in a bad way. Being incarcerated is a unnatural thing. You take a dog and you put him in a cage, and you keep him in the backyard chained up. What he start acting like? He don't act like that same dog that you keep in the house. So prison does affect you in a negative manner. Everybody don't have the mindset to take advantage of it. The second time in prison, I started reading a lot. I sucked up a lot of books, but I know that I'm emotionally scarred. So all those times where I had to bottle up my emotions, and the fact that I missed everybody, I missed being around women, I missed the loving and all that stuff, and I had to bottle all that up. Now that I'm back out, I'm learning how to tap back into that and open and embrace, and not
Mhm.
look for the worst all the time. And it's hard.
Yeah, it's a
It's hard,
process.
man.
Yeah,
So
'cause that's mental health, and that's a whole nother show. That's a whole another show. So, but you will be coming back. We will have you back. So
absolutely, I love this platform. I applaud you, your journey, the beautiful voice you have, and just your endeavors. And I know you're gonna be great. You know what I mean? I remember seeing you start this platform, Snails with No Shells. Uh, yeah, so I salute you, and I appreciate you having me on here to share a little bit of my story. And if y'all trying to get y'all credit situated, or just to get some information, because it's a lot of stuff we just don't know. I read a lot of books.
mhm.
12 and a half years, I read a lot. I know a lot of stuff about credit. So hit me up. Way Better Credit, and Way Better Life is my personal page. If y'all want to dig through some of that, I have some videos and stuff on there, while I was at the transitional center and stuff. So yeah, anybody just reach out.
Yeah, and the guys and ladies and gentlemen, he's awesome because he does. He's always posting little little nuggets about credit and everything. So wow. Well, again, thank you for being on the show and your story. Wow, what a story! What a
Well,
story!
I'm a different person now. I want to say
Mhm.
that. And I think it took this second time me going in to really learn the error of my ways. And anybody that has sons and cousins and uncles that's just out there in the street, man, I don't know. That's not the place for you. That's not a place for us. We doing ourselves a disservice. The us on us crime, the senselessness is crazy, man. And it's the same thing that's going on in prison. So, if you think you tough, you running them streets, and they got somewhere for you. In the end of the day, you're gonna have to pay the price for it. I just want to say that.
Well, thank you for being real because they need to know that it's real. It's real in the streets.
And
It's
that's
real
the
in
PT
jail.
version. That's the
Right, right,
PT
right,
version. I was trying not to
right,
be all.
right. Well, they can talk. They can get in contact with you. Instagram, way better credit, way underscore better underscore life. They want to talk to you, personally and get more details about life and that experience. They need to hit you up because I see you being very just open and transparent about your story. So I appreciate that, sharing your story. And I just, I'm sending that,
But
that like next.
let me ask you this: is it anything that you have a question about, and either about me being out now or about prison?
A question. Do I have a question? Well, because
Yeah,
I
you have
know,
a question.
I know you've gotten out, and so I know you're doing the credit, helping repair credit. How was it? So you said you're in a work release program. So are you still um, working in that program, or did you get another job after that, or what happened?
Well, so what happened was the way it works is the transitional center. They have employers that they can send us to go work at. So when I was there, I was working for one of the companies that they sent me to, which was Jack Products out in Franklin, Georgia.
Mhm.
I was working there, and when I got out, when I paroled out and left the program, I paroled out to Sharpsburg, and I continued to work there for a few months, and then I was like, nah, because to me it still had ties to me being in prison. It wasn't a fresh start. So
Right.
yeah, I got another job, and in the end, I don't like working. I want to work for myself. So I'm
Mhm.
aspiring to solidify my business on a larger level, not just the credit. Day trading. I've taught myself that
Mhm.
options.
Mhm.
So learning about different vehicles of investment and insurance. It's just I'm in a whole nother space versus where I was when I felt like I wanted to be in the street. So,
Right.
you
It's
know,
called maturity. It's
I
called
had to grow up
maturity,
now.
right. We all go through our experiences, we all go through our um like we all kind of hit our bottom in different kind of ways, where we up against the walls, like, okay, you got to grow up, and it don't feel
No,
good. It doesn't feel good at all. Growing up and like having to, it doesn't feel good at all. It doesn't. But man, coming out on the other end, it makes you such a solid, individual. You know what I'm saying? Like you really find out who you are and what you can deal with and what you can't. You learn how to have boundaries. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a wonderful thing on the other end of that growth process, and you never, and once you start, you never stop growing and evolving. That's what you do. You're going to continue to grow. You're going to continue to evolve. Once you start being accountable for your actions, once you really, looking in that mirror and spending that time with yourself, you know what I mean by looking in the mirror, maybe not literally, but being in prison too, you got to deal with you. And that's what it's all
that's
about.
what that's with anything. You gotta hold yourself accountable. The whole pointing the finger syndrome that we tend to uh, get into sometimes, like it's not our fault. Like I
Right.
hate my job. I'm tired. I ain't got enough money. You gotta hold yourself accountable. You don't have enough money. You hate your job, but what are you doing to educate yourself or to increase your value? What's your skill set? Like
Right.
who wants to even pay you more money? You don't know nothing. So it's
Right.
like hold yourself accountable. I had to hold myself accountable. Even now, I'm holding myself accountable, and I'm still learning how to forgive myself and to believe in myself That's the daily thing that you have to remind yourself, believe in yourself. If somebody else did that great thing, what makes you think that you can't do that great thing? We all got greatness in us. Not, you'll see me. Y'all continue to follow me. Like I said, way better credit, way better life. And anything that I have going on in the future, I post that on there. And I can't wait to circle back. And then the next time I come on here, I'll be this guest that have all these different things going on, and you'll be able to plug this up there, and that'll be some stuff screaming across there. And I have these live dates and all that. And I can't wait to see you perform. So I look forward to that coming on one of your shows one day.
All right. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate you. And again, I appreciate you just coming on and sharing your story. You said you cut some of it out, but that's fine. You own here. This is like one of the biggest steps. You own here. You're telling your story. Some people are not telling their story. They still, afraid or ashamed or embarrassed. So you're not only showing up for yourself, you're really showing up for others too. And that's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? So again, I say thank you. Thank you for being as transparent and willing to, kind of share your story, because releasing the fear, the shame, and the guilt, those are the three cousins that hold us down, that hold us back. Once you start releasing that, you start to elevate. You know what I'm saying? So again, thank you for being on the show. And what I would like to say before we go is, remember, just like the sun, you are necessary. I love y'all.
My interpretation. Get your copy today.
Just my imagination, or is it just insanity?